letting the audio fade. Close that. Hello everybody. Welcome to episode 61 of Left for Random Talk.
Welcome. We are your hosts, as always. Also, thanks for the update, broski. Good luck with that.
Yep.
And, yeah. So welcome again to episode 61.
Yeah.
8 more to go.
For the magic number.
Yes. So again, just a heads up, people. Today's going to be a bit of a short one.
I've already alerted, Tumblr, but, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a short one due to storms coming in, which I have no control over.
That's alright.
As much as I would love. I would do so many insane things, like sending hurricanes up into the Arctic. Because why not? I would do that.
How about you send some storms, like rainstorms, over to the rainforest?
Good idea. And then I'll drown Africa later. Really piss off Storm after that.
I'm not so sure about that
massive,
one.
Massive references to
Yeah, I know.
X-Men. Have you never read that comic? It's actually kind of funny.
I'm aware of her and all that stuff, but no.
Anyway. But
no
yeah,
fun allowed.
Yes. Let's see what else. Again, it's been a bit of a slow, well, not really a slow week. It's actually been quite busy. We've got, in the last few days, multiple games have come out, and there's just too many for me to cover in such a short time.
Yep.
We had Control come out. We had Remnant from the Ashes come out not too long ago. We had Man of Medan that came out, I think, yesterday. Or the day before.
It came out the day before, because I'm laying in bed, I have my tablet open, and I look over, I have this long strip of YouTube videos posted as my alerts. So I drop the thing down, I start swiping them to get rid of the ones I don't care about, and then, my tablet has this thing where sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes when it gets an update or an alert from YouTube, it'll enlarge the image that is the thumbnail and just put it right there. So I swipe one of the videos and suddenly there's the enlarged image of that undead dude with the bulging eyes. And I'm in bed. I woke up the dogs.
Well, this is the thing about, what's the word? I've looked into Man of Medan, or, yeah, it's like Madame Medine, something like that. I haven't found the proper pronunciation for it yet. But it's like Until Dawn, apparently, but with, oceans. Or, set on a ghost ship. And yet, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this doesn't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Until Dawn had two supernatural plots running in tandem. You had the what's the word? You had the slasher killer angle, which was fake, to set up the fake tension, and then you had the Wendigo stuff, which was like the real threat, the oh my god kind of threat.
Yeah.
But this just kind of feels like, I don't know. There's something about it that seems like they're trying to, to push the supernatural angle as hard as humanly possible, but something feels off about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know why that's the aspect. Maybe it's because I've seen similar ghost ship themes done before and done better. But I don't know. Actually, no. This game reminds me of a very old, not very old, but like an old movie called what was it? I think it was just called Ghost Ship.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, where the basic premise is, if I remember correctly, there is this boat or this cruise liner that draws people in, and then they die horribly on the ship.
Oh yeah,
And
viciously and horribly. Like, oh my gods, I can't believe I
yeah,
stuck around to watch.
and the bait to draw people all the time is gold. It's treasure. And part of the, I believe one of the characters even says, it's always about the treasure. Everyone comes here for it. Nobody gets it. That's how they get you.
Uh, but
Yes.
the thing about that movie is that there was like Death himself is on that ship, and he's the one drawing people to it, really.
Yes.
And he says, like, I have to do this. I have to reach a quota, or else I'm in trouble. The only survivor of that movie cancels his quota because there is one soul that he butchered who was a good person, and so he has no control over.
Exactly. His exact words are, "Souls without sin are so much harder to control,"
Yeah, but
and it makes sense.
but I'm still surprised myself that I stuck around to watch that movie.
Yeah, but for that movie, it's a bit more interesting because the premise of like, okay, it is a supernatural evil. This isn't hiding it. It's the bait
It's
and
one
so
of
on and
those
so forth.
movies where you watch it to see which one is, like, how is this person going to die, because they're going to die.
Exactly, and that's the problem with Madame Medine. It's that it feels like it's Until Dawn too, but not in a good way. It's more like, how do I put it? It's like they. It doesn't feel like they learned much from the original. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's a repeat and not a lot was changed because like I said, I've seen small clips, I've seen small examples of the game, and there are just aspects where it just seems like it's Until Dawn but with added added bells and whistles and not in the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the big example I think about is there is a specific scene when I was just looking up one of the endings just to see like how does this really tie together. And the big thing about it is that in that moment or in that excuse me,
Sorry.
in that particular scene, um, there is a moment where a creature, a monster, is staring down at the protagonist, but it doesn't attack. It doesn't do anything as you would expect. And there is like three options you can do with like a Mass Effect style choice wheel, but in the form of a compass, which is be threatening, say nothing, ask it a question. And that's what it makes me think. Like this is the only thing they added because shortly after there's this big choice you have, which is for for some reason a rat chest bursts this guy like through the stomach or the abdomen, and then immediately you have the option to either stab the rat, stab the monster, or do nothing, or just don't move the control whatsoever. And immediately, I could tell that okay, the rat's fake because if it was real, if he would be panicking like there's no one's business. This is just to get him to stab himself.
Mm-hmm.
And the monster just turns out to be one of his friends apparently, which you could tell based on how he was acting. But still, like I said, this just feels like we're tricking the player into doing bad choices instead of actually providing thought-provoking ethical dilemmas. And then revealing right at the end, oh no, this happened, basically. Like,
It's like that old game. Oh god,
mhm.
I only remember it because it's usually right alongside. Oh crap! I forgot the name of that one too. Shit.
It'll come to you.
Something monsters. Fear of monsters. That's it. Fear of monsters.
Okay.
Where in that game, um, throughout it you actually do fight monsters, but like in the end, depending which ending you get, I don't really understand how you get these endings. You find out that these monsters you've been butchering are people.
Yes. Basically, the endings are okay. First off, Afraid of Monsters is basically everything has been going on in the protagonist's head because, again, he's dealing with serious mental problems due to an accident.
Yeah.
The point, the point of the what causes these options to occur, or what causes the endings to occur, is basically because um, it's representative of things he did in his life. For example, if he doesn't trust or doesn't give a gun to a gas mask wearing doctor, you
That was a
know,
different. That was a different game, and that's the one I forgot what the title was.
yeah, Cry of Fear. That's it, Cry of Fear.
Yeah, that's it.
But basically, the point is that because he stabs or doesn't give the gun to the doctor,
Mm-hmm.
it's him refusing to accept the help that he needs from his doctor. That's basically what it is. And the end result is that everything leading up to that point, instead of him fighting his inner demons and trying to overcome what's happening, it's been him going on a mental rampage, or sorry, on a complete rampage all over his apartment block. And it's kind of horrifying to think about it. Also, kind of funny. A man in a wheelchair is doing this.
Yeah, that's still like a cry fear, but
Mm-hmm.
another ending you can get is only creepy on the fact of social creepy, like
Mm-hmm.
where his girlfriend decides to reject him because he needs the help and she's not wanting to deal with that, so he kills her for it. Like that's one of the
Yes.
endings too. I don't remember which one that comes from.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to be completely honest. That always bothered me to no end. Specifically because it's like, you fucking bitch. This guy likes you and everything, and he needs you, and you're like, I'm not going to deal with it because fuck you. It's like, you deserve to die. You deserved it.
Which is a terrible thing to say, but still.
You know. Yeah. But like I said, it's one of those. Oh, what's the word? But that's the thing. That's subverting what you expect in the traditional gaming sense, versus um, subverting versus what Man of Medine does, which is trying to trick the player at every turn with illusions, delusions, everything, and it kind of makes the whole thing feel cheap in a sense. Again, it's like one of those horror movies where you're like, you predict what's going to happen before it happens, and then the movie tries to what's the word? It tries to be subversive, and you're like, no, I know where this is going. Just stop.
Yeah. It's like those old cheesy movies where you know how they made that work.
Yes, and it's not even
I
that
like that we're
impressive
not even
anymore.
continuing the list. We're just chatting.
I know, but this is how our show typically goes, and frankly, I've kind of gotten
we get
used to it.
distracted and we just start rambling and rambling.
But it also counts, since technically this is in regards to what we're saying.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's that. There's also the another game that actually came out called oh god, Ancestor, or yeah, like Ancestor Odyssey,
I
something
know
like
that one. I know that one.
that. That also came out, and I'm looking at it, like honestly looking at it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just wondering, it's like this was an attempt at realistic sport, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, it's not. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Never will I say, "Oh, this is such a bad idea because it tried something." It's more the sense of, is this a game that's going to be fun? Because like I said, it's just realistic sport at some point. It's like, I don't know. So
I know that like a lot of YouTubers I follow that play games based off of, like prehistoric ages. A lot of them are playing it. I haven't watched a single video on this game because I don't like monkeys, which is hilarious. But I don't like monkeys.
yes.
Plus, like I've seen the trailer multiple times. That baby should be dead. Like you've seen the trailer where the mama flips over, like I think it was a boar or a bear or something, just like some sort of animal. But she literally latches onto his back and flips while she has a baby on her back. That baby should be dead.
Exactly, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
It's a video game.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not particularly. I'm not interested because what's the word? But like I said, it just seems like this was an attempt at a nature documentary. The documentary fell through. They made it into a game instead, and yeah. Also, apparently, just now, Astral Train has also come out. Motherfucker. What is going on? Why is everything coming out right now?
Because fuck you. That's why.
I'm gonna cover Astral Train when everything's said and done, because that's an interesting idea. It's future cops. Actually, funnily enough, that actually sparked a lot of people just losing their minds because the devs actually said, "Oh, we want to make cops actually good people in our game," and everyone's like, "No, cops are always evil." It's like, motherfuckers, it's a fucking game. But like I said, we'll cover it when it comes out officially. Also, hold on a sec. I think this room is slowly baking. Give me 1 second.
Roasted Rev. How's everybody's day going?
And I'm back. Just as I thought. Someone turns off the AC when I say, "Hey, I can't. Please don't turn that off when I'm doing this because this room gets obnoxiously hot." But no, everyone's like, "No, fuck you. We don't care."
Oy vey. I'm glad I'm
Like
in
I
the
said,
basement.
this room, I am fucking cursed because every time I've ever lived anywhere, I always wind up with apparently the world's hottest room. And no matter what I do, I can never escape it. And I am sitting right next to a window when the sun is setting. Anyway. So, let's actually get into the lists here.
Mm-hmm.
So we got just about 4 this time around. Again, like I said, it's more. This is mostly because of my own schedule, more so than things actually happening. So yeah. First up, we got Iron Fury reverses its censorship for the game. Non-customers rage over their attempt to strong-arm the game to be their own personal BS. Dark Dev rejects Epic's Score exclusivity deal. He respects his customers and wants to honor their pre-orders of the game on Steam. Later releases free DLC for the game as a thanks to the fans. Rev's review: Remnant from the Ashes. Dark Souls with gun, but with more to offer. And Star Wars Episode 9 trailer releases. Try to bait fans with past movies. No one cares anymore. So actually, let's talk about that one first because it's a bit on the quick side.
I knew you wanted to talk about that one first.
Oh no, it's like a few seconds. Like this shouldn't take us that long.
My dad and my brother saw the trailer on TV because, like, we have, I don't know if it's satellite or something like that, but we have, like, Dish or DirecTV, whichever the ones, like, the good company, like, the good one. So we have a channel that is nothing but movie trailers.
Oh Lord.
And the trailer for the Star Wars came on, and, like, my family is all Star Wars nerds. Like, my mom nearly destroyed the VHS tapes because she wanted to watch them over and over. I don't like Star Wars. And I looked over at my mom, my dad, my brother, like, and they're watching the trailer. My brother went, "Nope." My dad goes, "Yeah, no." And my mom just slowly turned and went outside. So that tells you something.
Yeah, so as everyone has known by now, Star Wars is dying.
Yeah.
And this isn't even like a hyperbole. Um,
This isn't an exaggeration. It's dying.
exactly. And mostly because, like I said, Lucasfilms, Kathleen Kennedy, a lot of idiots in charge said, let's make Star Wars into something that it's not, and killed all the interest.
Mm-hmm.
You had the round-headed fuck Ryan Johnson saying, making the. I think I want to say he was the. I want to say he's the man who almost single-handedly killed Star Wars.
Almost.
Yes, and like I said, I wish I could. I wish I had the authoritative power to put a restraining order on this guy and say you're not allowed within 1,000 or 100 feet of a Star Wars movie for the director's position ever again.
Just ban him from the Lucas Ranch.
I wish, but Kathleen Kennedy likes him because he's a valuable man. He's putty for her.
Ugh.
Uh-huh. Excuse me. So we got that,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the hack that is J.J. Abrams. And yes, he is a fucking hack because the guy can't make a decent story to save his fucking life. It's all, oh, mystery, lead forward, rewrite everything I've done again and redo everything. It's like, or remake and do that. It's like,
Just stick to a story, dude.
exactly. And like I said, this guy has a horrible disrespecting the source material to make whatever abomination movie he wants work. Again, like I said, the Star Trek time travel bullshit that basically divided the fans. Instead of continuing the franchise, he just says, "Let's do time travel," and everyone hated him for that. Now apparently, so there's been a rumor going around about Episode 9, and that is there's going to be time travel in the movie, and people are like, "No, no, that's not going to happen." But then you got things like John Williams saying every single Star Wars song he's ever made is going to be in this movie. You got Luke Skywalker talking again, even though he's dead. Doesn't even sound like a Force Ghost. You have the Emperor. You've got apparently Darth Vader somewhere. And the Millennium Falcon having pieces back that were destroyed in previous movies, as if nothing happened. There's going to be fucking time travel in this. This is the thing. Like Star Wars is not about time travel. It has never had time travel, at least as far as the expanded universe. And a lot of people are like, if there has been time travel shit, it's been mostly like on the fringes, like possible time travel, but it just doesn't work. It's more like, hey, look into the past and see what we can see, that kind of shit.
Yep.
But never directly, I'm going to alter time. But now with the newer stuff, they're doing time travel, or they're introducing time travel like things. For example, there is there was a Vader comic by Dark Horse, and in the comic, Vader discovers there's something that they're doing, which is like something called the in-between, which according to Star Wars lore or whatever, it's a space in between time, in theory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible for, how do I put it? It's a void, but there are like these portals that always play important moments, and it's possible to interact with those things. But altering it does kind of like lead to the paradox scenario, kinda. But in the comic, when Vader attempts this, he kind of semi-succeeds in going to the past. But he goes back in time within the in-between. And then the Force immediately is like, it doesn't talk to him, but it flat out reveals that even if you go back in time and have your wife now or stop her from dying or whatever, I'm gonna make sure she always dies. You can't stop that. So, like I said, that's kind of the safety net for why time travel won't work in Star Wars or won't happen, and that is basically life will be like, fuck you, we're fixing this immediately. So there's that. But
Yeah.
like I said, knowing Abrams, he's just going to be like, no, time travel, I don't care, fans, and people are just going to hate his guts.
Which is sad, because I actually rather liked the Star Trek movie, like only the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, like the only Star Trek I ever watched was with Picard. And I really like that one.
I've never seen much of Star Trek. Like I said, probably a lot of times on the show, the only thing I ever saw was a single episode in which it had the Borg frozen, and then they began thawing them, and it was like it was very Thing-esque, where they kind of, instead of having them the evil they uncover in the ice die, they're more like, hey, let's see what happens, and they let it happen. But that's the only thing I've ever seen of Star Trek. And even then, I'm kind of like, you know what? I think this is enough.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, like I said, I know of some aspects of it. Like, I know how important Picard is. I know how important old Trek is to a lot of people. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Like, in comparison to, like, the old Star Trek, the one with Picard was actually a lot better. It was still a little cheesy, but it was good.
But like I said, it's been kind of like the only thing, like I said, the only thing about Star Trek, the bit about the joke of "Shut up, Wesley," and that's about it. I don't know.
So, oh god, I have to remember who Wesley is.
The quote unquote acting ensign. The kid who everyone just says shut up.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
So, if I remember correctly, he is Will Wheaton.
Yes.
I am following Will Wheaton on Tumblr. And every now and then, he will post an image of him in a sound booth. Or he'll post, like, a very, he'll post a appreciation image of an old movie. And I think at one point somebody did send him a picture of when he was in Star Trek, and he told the person, please burn this. Nobody must know that I was once a child.
No. The reason why he wants that burned is according to every Star Trek person I've spoken to, or at least like had minor interactions with, they hate Wesley. Wesley, because what was it? It's like the Picard Star Trek is like a lot of people will say it's almost perfect, but Wesley brought it down because he would open his mouth and say something stupid, basically.
He was the kid, like, for people who don't know this, he was the little kid that really, really wanted to be captain. Yes. And there was an episode where everybody was balls to the walls drunk because of something in the air. And he went onto the intercom and used Picard's voice recording to make himself captain. And somehow it worked until everybody was cured.
Yes. But like I said, it's just been it's just been like sorry, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head. Like I said, he's just kind of known as a partial meme, but also for his career and everything like that. I don't particularly hate the guy, honestly.
Oh, no. In fact, but like those, he's now better known in like the D&D community for being the man cursed with natural ones, which is the worst role you can ever get. And he's so far he's only once gotten a natural 20.
That's funny. But like I said, I got nothing against the guy. I don't know his body of work too well. I would like to know about it later. Yeah.
I think he's mostly just like uh, a voice over guy, you know, like
A voice actor. Yeah, I think he is. He is. But anyway, point being is that I don't, like I said, I don't know much about Star Trek. I don't follow it, but I do know about the fan base's absolute hatred for what Abrams did, and I can understand where the hatred comes from. We're talking about a guy who basically, okay, the perfect example. Let's say in a hypothetical, you make a comic series, right?
mm-hmm.
You enjoy it, you put all the time and effort in the universe into it. It's everyone loves it, yada yada yada. And then someone out there takes everything you've done and then repurposes it and attempts to make it their own while destroying what made it perfect, basically. And that is what Abrams is. He can't make his own movies because everybody knows that a big thing is the mystery box, the bullshit of we don't know what this thing is, and that's what drives the MacGuffin chasing. That's it, MacGuffin chasing.
Yeah.
And that's all he's known for. And again, there's nothing wrong with having someone be known for that. That's not the problem. The problem comes from if your entire movie revolves around this, maybe it's time you step back, reconsider how you write, and say, you know what, let's do this instead.
Yeah.
But like I
There's
said,
nothing
and that's
wrong
why
with asking an adult for help.
exactly, that's a good way of putting it. But like I said, we've got this going on, and so we have Abrams coming in, and we have the actual movie trailer that came out, and it's a big nothing burger. Is the best way to put it.
Extra cheese.
Yes. In fact, the perfect example is that people. Here's a big example for this, right?
Mm-hmm.
In part of the trailer, or part of the original trailer that came out, you have the piece of wood Ray, character conflicting Finn, antique droid C-3PO, co-pilot reduced Chewbacca, the cyberbolic that is BB-8, and knockoff Han Solo Poe. You have all of these characters coming, walking towards the remains of the Death Star's laser dish. Before we continue, I want to ask you this. The first and second Death Stars, right? Where did they blow up?
Literally in the middle of space. Or
Yes.
Or over Endor.
Yes. So I ask you, why is it that there is a piece of the Death Star in the middle of a fucking ocean?
Oh dear gods. Why?
Yes, what?
Why?
Why is this here, first off? Second off, why does this planet look nothing like Endor? J. Abrams, what are you doing? Abrams, fucking stop.
For the love of all, please stop. It's already dead.
Well, this is the thing. If it's calling back to the old Star Wars canon, which explains what happens to Endor, I don't mind. Which is, what was it? I forget exactly what it's called. But it was basically, the Death Star explodes over Endor, but it's too close. And instead of the pieces vaporizing, it's sending like thousands upon thousands of pieces of giant debris onto Endor, and it causes an extinction event. But if that's the case, I don't mind.
It's mostly just fallout.
Exactly, but if this is the case, and the Ewoks are extinct, I don't mind. I'm actually for it. Woo. Again, if you knew the shit I knew, you'd celebrate too.
Oh, I already know about the Ewoks.
Yeah. Like I said, it's like, good. One less menace in the galaxy.
Oh god, so
I
the
doubt this is
Ewok became a Jedi.
It's happened before.
Oh no.
Yes. But I doubt this is the case. I think Abrams is being stupid. I think Abrams is basically being, lol, who cares? I'm just going to do this. It's like, Abrams, stop. You dumb shit, stop. Stop! But that's the first thing. So we've got this stupid piece of debris out there in space for some reason, or in this planet, and it's like, not only that, but apparently Rey has some sort of backpack, which leads into this to time travel shit, implying that they're at the Death Star debris because there's a piece of the Death Star still functional, and they're going to use it to power their time machine and do an
No.
Avengers.
No.
So we've got that bullshit going on. Second, we have Darth 3PO.
No.
I'm not kidding. There was a brief second in the trailer where 3PO is sitting like the Emperor in some scrap area, and his eyes, for some fucking reason, are red. And people are like, "Oh, he's probably possessed by the Emperor," and or they up on it.
Oh dear gods.
I. First off, I'm like, I don't mind that. Again, because there were droids that had the same thing in the before this abomination came out.
Yep.
You know, we had I forget what they're called, but they were like red droids with an what's the word? With Mag's helmet basically, and it would project the Emperor's face on it, and then it would give the Emperor's last will and testament basically. So I don't mind that, but if this is basically their explanation, actually uploaded his brain into a machine thing, I'm gonna be so angry.
Blech.
I'm gonna be beyond angry, even to the point where it's like I need
To the point
hurt
where you
someone.
become Florida Man?
Yes, effectively. I'm just gonna run and start hitting people with alligators. I'm just gonna be running all over the place, throwing. No, I'm gonna throw baby ones specifically, and then get the mother to attack that person I threw the baby to.
Oh dear God.
That is, that's how I will enter the annals of Florida man history, the wild gator chucker. So, like I said, I'm gonna be enraged if that's the case. Next off, apparently Rose is still alive and is apparently in some role in the movie, and I'm like, we should have let her die.
Which one was that?
We should have let her, the one who wears a trash bag.
Oh.
So no, sorry, not trash bag, a potato sack. That's it.
Okay.
The Asian woman.
I don't know who that is.
She's in the 8th movie. Who is like an engineer, but a very shit engineer. It enters the adventure with Finn, and her whole defining trait is capitalism bad. That's basically it. And you know someone's gonna say, but no, Rose is great because she's an engineer. She did nothing. She literally tased Finn. That's it. That's the extent of her engineering prowess. She knows how to use a taser. Am I supposed to be impressed by this? So we've got that bullshit. What else?
Woohoo.
We've got a retarded like celebration in the middle of a fucking desert for some reason. We have old resistance ships, or sorry, rebellion ships flying somewhere. And oh right, the most stupid thing I think I've ever seen, and that was the over-the-top fleet of Star Destroyers in one scene, and it doesn't even look natural. So you know how the First Order have different Star Destroyers, like they're kind of on the fat side, you know? And it's kind of like it makes them stand out because they have the asymmetrical bridge. It's more to one side instead of dead in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, there was a moment in the trailer. I'm trying to find it. It doesn't seem to exist, but there's a moment in the trailer where an entire fleet of Star Destroyers are like in a cloud during a storm, and they're like in perfect rows, like in formation. And no one's taking it seriously because it looks like someone just copy pasted Star Destroyers all in one place.
Wow.
And people are like, this isn't how you make tension. More is not more dangerous. More is just excessive.
I have to ask, because I've actually been meaning to ask this for a while.
Shoot.
There is a scene that keeps popping up, and it's actually become a meme now, where a bunch of enemy ships, like the Star Destroyers you're talking about, suddenly get cut by a glowing white line.
Oh no, I know what you're talking about.
What is that?
Okay, so
Do I have to bring up a spoiler?
no. I never care about spoilers.
Never,
Frankly,
yeah, I
it's a
never care about
violation.
spoilers with with this movie series.
Yes. Um, it is a single ship going into hyperdrive, ramming into the big capital ship, and then the impact causes that capital ship to split apart, and debris is flying out, destroying the rest of the ships at the back.
Hmm.
Let me explain something. That's not how hyperspace works in Star Wars.
Yeah.
You're not going really fast from one point to another. You're literally punching a wormhole through another dimension and popping out the other side. That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, in the old canon, they actually say you can't hyperspace through something, specifically because there isn't enough time for the wormhole to open up, and you will literally ram into going and be a smear on whatever you're hitting. In order to avoid that kind of thing from happening, if you're like hyperspacing through a planet in huge quotations, you're actually slingshotting around the planet's gravity or atmosphere slash gravity and coming out the other side. That's what's happening. Ryan doesn't understand that. Ryan believes hyperspace is just going really, really fucking.
Woohoo!
You stupid round-headed moron. And people can send every time I insult Ryan Johnson straight to his fucking face. I don't fucking care. I don't care if he says, "Oh, I made a subversive." No, you piece of shit. You made a piece of shit that was about like almost $1 billion. No one likes it.
The
You are.
meme for that
Mhm.
line thing is actually, I don't know if it's a good thing or not really, but
Please
like
share it.
the meme is that Leia,
Mhm.
like the actress, she's the reason why that happens. She just spreads her fingers, suddenly all those things just shatter.
No, that
I
doesn't
know, but
happen.
that's the meme.
That's a joke. I know because she flies through space. She Mary Poppins her way in space.
Like, I saw that oh, that's actually rather sweet, and then I learned what really happens now. Oh,
No,
I wish she
it's
actually
retarded.
did that.
No, you know what the premise of it is?
Mm.
Okay, so in the movie, the rebellion is being chased by the First Order, and they can't hyperspace because they have a hyperspace tracker, which has been established before in the movie, so I'm not bothered by that. But for some reason, the First Order is tracking the big ships, but they're not tracking little transport ships for whatever reason. And here's the smarter idea. Right, so their whole plan is we're going to let the First Order destroy all our ships in our fleet except our big giant target ship, fill that ship with a bunch of little transports, then send the little transports to this one planet they can see but apparently haven't detected yet, and then let the First Order destroy our big ship, and they'll pass right by like they haven't even noticed us.
What the
That's the
fuck?
plan. Here's the problem with that plan. One, you're sacrificing all your ships in your fleet. Two, the transports have hyperdrives in them. Three, you're a retard. No, it
And that's
really is
and
just
that's
too
it.
complicated.
That's the answer to it all. That's it.
Yeah, here's how you could have done this better, by the way. One, tell everyone to hyperspace into random, because apparently only one ship in the tracking the entire fleet. Odds are good that they won't kill you all, and about like maybe a third of you will survive. That's better than about 12 people left. And yes, it is 12 people by the end of the movie. Second, since your little ships have hyperdrives and they're not then just use the little ships and leave. You're all retarded. What are you doing?
Like, this logic is quite literally toddler logic here.
It's like the argument of people saying, why don't they use the Eagles to go to Mordor?
Exactly.
You have it. It's there. The risk is minimal. Just use it. And people are like, oh no, but it's the journey. It's like, motherfucker, journey. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
No, but you got this. And then apparently Admiral Bitchface, I refuse to use her name because she I hate that woman so much. Like, how do I put it? You know how Kella Thame looks?
Yep.
You know, kind of like it looks like she has like a kind of dress going on.
Yep.
Yeah, imagine an actual officer in a dress in this rebellion. That's basically what she is. So, like I said, Admiral Bitchface here. Once all the transports are flying away, she's flying in the opposite direction, so they shoot at her and heroically. Immediately, the plan is revealed, and the transports get picked off one after the other. And she waits a full, 2 or so minutes as the majority of her forces die before realizing, wait, I should do the suicide move. Instead of, oh, my people are dying, let me suicide now and save as many. Selfish, stupid bitch.
I mean, let's I don't really think we need to recover what happened with Akbar.
Yeah, exactly. Kill this dumb bitch face. Keep Akbar. That's all you need to do.
Like, the actor himself was so upset.
Exactly, and everyone's just pissed with this. It's like, you treated him like a fucking prop, you motherfuckers. Fuck you. This is why Disney this is why the fans hate you, and why you're losing so many people. So we've got that. So, oh, by the way, I found the Star Destroyers in the trailer. Look how stupid this. Just look at this. Look at this.
Oh boy. What the fuck?
Someone just said, let's just copy paste and put them in a line.
Independence Day is an old movie. And not even they did that.
Yes, in fact...
Mars Attacks is an even older movie, and they didn't do that.
My friend, that weird Asari, we talked about this before. We were talking about Gundam, right? Mm-hmm. And when I explained that, the reason why mobile suits don't just pick each other off from the distance, like traditional ships, and they have to get close to each other, is that due to the energy output between the ships and the suits and everything, the beams lose their potency, and they dissipate too quickly before they hit anything. So you have to be closer in order to be effective. She immediately said, why would you do that in space when you can go up and down? Why are you restricting yourself to one field/plane of combat?
Yeah, one axis.
Exactly, one axis. These Star Destroyers is basically that. These are...
You're in space, you dense motherfuckers.
Exactly. Spread out. You're asking some...
Plus, if they are indeed in a storm in space, like one of those radiation storms that the sun is so known for letting out and then possibly bundling up somewhere, you do not want to be near each other for that.
Exactly. You're literally asking... what's the word? You're literally asking for someone to crash into you, or to have a chain reaction happen. What are you doing? Fucking stop.
Plus, do you have any idea how horrible the EMP would be?
Exactly. Spread out! Spread out! Also, by the way, if you hear panting and like jingling, that is my dog Logan. He's hearing me yell and he thinks that something's wrong, so he's like, please be calm.
Must save
I'm okay.
master. Must save master.
Yeah,
From
it's just
what?
like,
Himself?
buddy, it's fine, I'm okay. Poor thing, he's so like stressed. He's troubled by his
Well,
own mind.
yeah, there's a fucking storm on the way.
Oh no, it's bright and sunny right now. He's freaking out because I'm yelling. He thinks I'm pissed with someone. I'm like, no,
It's
no.
like, no, 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 I'm not angry at you. You're a perfect angel. Until there's
Exactly.
bacon,
That's
and
what
then
he's.
you become a menace.
Yes, or small creature.
That too.
Yes, but like I said, it's like spread out, you stupid motherfucker, spread out. And apparently, there's also this piece of concept art just kind of floating on the internet, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, congratulations, you've made the Star Wars galaxy smaller and more like Earth. Like, look at this. You can't tell me this is fucking Star Wars. Why are you riding warthogs?
Nice shoes.
Yeah, nice Reeboks, by the way.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing.
That's my point. Congratulations, you've cheapened the Star Wars experience now. What happened to truly creative creatures like the Tauntaun or the Rancor? Things that were so alien yet plausible instead of Space Boars.
These are boar horses.
Yes, it's not
Like,
even that creative.
have you seen the Stargate movie? Like the one where they're
No.
in Egypt, essentially?
No.
Well, in that movie, they have this buffalo-looking creature. It's like a giant yak, but it
Mm-hmm.
has the legs of a horse. And
Okay.
when it runs, you can very easily tell that it's a horse in a very shaggy costume. But the thing is, it's so bizarre and unique that you just ignore it. It looks really good.
Yes. But this is just no. Again, you're cheapening the Star Wars universe by making it feel like it's just out of our galaxy. Congratulations. And lastly, we have the big reveal of Dark Ray.
Dun dun dun.
I'm sorry, just look at this fucking saber. What is this? Why do you have this?
Well,
You stupid child.
it would actually make a lot more sense if the blades were like connected.
It's a double-ended lightsaber.
Well, in the game I'm playing on stream, Okami,
Hmm.
the warrior character has a sword that has two handles, similar to that. So if you just had the blades be one big thing, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. But that is so dumb.
And it really is because uh, it's been done before in Star Wars. I'm gonna say it right now. The fold-up lightsabers have been a thing. Pong Krell, the worst Jedi ever,
Mm-hmm.
had two of these, but it was specifically because, um, like I said, it was specifically because his lightsabers were in fact double-ended, and because he's a alien that has four arms, it makes sense to have the saber fold up when in rest and then extend it when he has to use it. That's not the problem. The problem is that the fold-up double-ended lightsaber is a stupid concept because you have two blades projecting from two different sources, and unless you have the dexterity and the training to use it effectively, you're going to hurt yourself and or anyone else. Ray's fold-up abomination here just looks like someone said, you know what, let's make this instead, even though it's retarded and it makes no sense. Which, by the way, I need to say this. Uh, Star Wars, Disney has already fucked up and spoiled their own movie.
Oh, goody.
So the thing is that the people making Star Wars don't know what Star Wars is about, right? So they don't know that certain key phrases reveal the truth about. Oh, before I forget, this I pulled this image from a random Google search. I'm not stealing it from anyone, just so we're clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the best image I could find of.
With emo Ray.
Yeah, so if anyone like if you own the thumbnail or whatever, you know, we're not trying to
We're
rip
willing
you
to
off.
talk.
Yeah, exactly. If you want it removed or whatever,
Just
you're like, hey, I
fucking
don't.
talk to us, people.
Yeah, don't get pissy and go like, flag. It's like, no, don't do that. First off, we're just gonna come back on a different thing. Again, we really do not care about, like, I'm not gonna say we don't care about the channel. That's not right. It's more like this channel isn't something. What's the word? I don't want to say it's not important. That's trivializing.
Plus, it's my channel. So.
I know. That's why I'm trying not to be a prick about it. It's
like, this channel is gonna keep going even if Left for Random Talk is torn down. Like odds are, we're just going to try it again.
Exactly. Like, how do I put it? The channel is important, but not in like a monetary.
Mm-hmm. We're not making money
sense.
off of this.
Exactly. It's more like an emotional thing. It's like if you flag it down or try to destroy it, it's more like, oh no, all those years of work. But that's it. There's no like. Exactly. It's not like we have the option to start up another account on another thing. It's not like we can't do that.
It's not like we don't have any other options, like say Twitch or Mixer or all that shit.
Or Chatterbait.
Oh, I actually kind of forgot about that one.
Well, we forget about that one because it's porn related.
Oh, never mind. The porn returns.
What did you think Chatterbait was about? What? It was like bait is in the line. Wait a minute. Now, if we ever do a Chatterbait, I'm probably going to be the one who makes it, and then just have an image of a dick on screen all the time.
Oh god.
Specifically, like just like how some people go to Pornhub just to restream or upload random anime shows without the fear of copyright. That's probably what we're gonna do as well. We're just gonna create a Chatterbait account just to have a dick on screen, and that's it. And then talk about absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
No. I kid. So, yeah. So, like I said, because these idiots don't know about certain words and phrases in Star Wars or the context of them, they spoiled the Dark Ray thing and said, and I quote, Star Wars is not a stranger to strange visions or horrific visions in its universe. So you're telling us exactly what we knew. This Ray is just a vision of what if. It's not even actually Ray.
It's the headless Luke thing again.
Exactly. It's like, imagine if Star Wars Episode 5 was coming out and people were like, oh my god, Luke's head and Vader's suit, what does this mean? And then some idiot article writer says, Star Wars is trying a new innovation and always trying to show what ifs. It's the same fucking stupidity. Like I said, it pisses me off. It really does. And honestly, I don't give a shit about Rey. No one should. Because Rey is this perfect, I can't do anything wrong. It's, you know what? Project I talked about.
We didn't get that. You cut out.
Oh, sorry. I said, I really wish, or I really should that Star Wars...
Nope, you're still cutting out.
That's weird. I said, I really should do that Star Wars rewrite project I talked about.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, where it's just me basically going over the movies and saying, let's rewrite all the characters in more believable ways. Let's make Rey a selfish bitch, Finn a conflicted stormtrooper who gets his ass kicked by Phasma. Poe can stay as is because he's not that bad of a character. And let's kill BB-8 in the first 5 minutes.
Aw.
No, I'm kidding. We'll just keep BB-8. We'll keep him. I'll keep him as is because he's not as offensive that way. You know.
Yeah.
It's just that I guess you could call him the kid droid. So we'll keep him as is, just less prominent in the story. And we'll actually give Han, Leia, and Luke some reason to be in this fucking shit.
Yeah.
But like I said, like nobody cares anymore. Rian Johnson killed the franchise. Disney is forcing the fans out because they want the millennial audience because they think they'll give them money.
Not really.
Half of these people you're trying to pander to are broke as hell.
It's not their fault.
Maybe. But like I said, the people you're pandering to won't even buy your project because they.
Because a good number of these people have actually grown up with the originals too.
Yeah, but they're more like me, who are pissed with what they're doing because they're not trying to appeal to what I enjoyed growing up. They're trying to appeal to a new shit.
As Bill would say it, they're trying to pander to a generation of soft people.
Yes. That's the perfect way of putting it. A group of people who would remove the war and or just and or just try to rewrite the movies to be more just bullshit, you know. Make it about America and other bullshit nobody cares. It's like, fuck off.
Make it more politically correct. Fuck off, Karen.
Exactly, thank you. But yeah, like I said, nobody cares about.
To your manager. Fuck off, Karen.
You're talking to the manager, and I'm telling you to fuck off.
It's I love the memes about that where they demand to see the manager, and then you say, "I am the manager."
Yes, it's quite funny. But like I said, no one's interested in episode 9. Disney's killed it. The old fans won't come back. Whatever they try to make will flop. They tried to make it like the MCU, but they did it poorly, and well, here we are. You're driving away people who actually enjoyed the franchise and will complain for the sake of complaining. Congratulations, Disney. You played yourselves.
Exactly.
I'll see you in a few years when you inevitably... And then I will buy your assets for pennies. That's what I always love. I love it whenever a company goes under and then open and buy some of the assets for like pennies off the dollar. And then laugh.
Because that's literally what, like, all they're worth now.
Yes. But again, it's funny to say, yes, I own part of a debunked company, and I will sell it to you for $1.
I will sell it to you for 1 corn chip.
Exactly. It's like that. That is the worst kind of insult. It's like you don't even try to finance or try to make better whenever you bought off a dead company. You just sell it to insult it.
Sell it to a company that'll actually treat it nice and take it to dinner and all that shit.
Exactly. And then laugh at their failures.
And actually make a lot more money than them. That's always the best
Yes.
part. When you take take something from an evil company and then you make more money off of it.
Yes, it's just like how excuse me, it's just like how Kojima stole not really stole, but is taking the Fox engine as actually something. Even though Konami wishes they owned the rights to it, which they don't. Ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, before I forget, there is one more thing. So, the poster for episode 9 was revealed.
Oh, no.
Right? Look at the Emperor in the background for 1 second, right? Notice how something feels off about him for some reason? Like he looks like
He looks high off his mind.
Exactly. Like, it looks like he doesn't. Something's wrong with him. Like, he's a terrible CGI model.
Oh no.
What if I told you that Disney was so cheap that instead of rehiring the actor and just put him back in the makeup just for this shot, or actually reusing an image of the Emperor from anywhere else, they actually used a toy.
Oh no.
Yes. So people were wondering, why does this Emperor Palpatine look so high/fake? It turns out they used a Hot Toys figurine for the Emperor's face. That's the thing. The Hot Toys are like these stick figures, and you could be mistaken for it being real, but you can tell they're not real. They're just some aspects that look too perfect. Again, to quote Mr. Plinkett, you might not have caught it, but your brain did.
Mm-hmm.
So, because of that, people just started memeing the ever-loving shit out of her in the background face being a horrible CGI model. And then this amazing thing was created.
Like, I would argue the fact that, like, if you have to bring a person... if you have to bring... if you have to bring an actor in with makeup and all that shit, you have to pay them. And it's not a small fee either. But then again, Disney is so fucking rich.
Well, voice actors specifically get paid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know about actors. I know that the Actors Guild likes to fuck with people. But, no, apparently Disney didn't even buy a figure just to pose it for this trailer. They apparently stole it from Hot Toys' Facebook.
Wow.
And they really thought no one would notice.
Wow.
Hot Toys doesn't... Yeah, but the thing is, Hot Toys doesn't care. They're angry that Disney would do this. But they're not like so angry that we'll sue over it. It's more like, free publicity, whatever. But I'd be mad.
I mean, I know that, like, Japan as in a country is still a little miffed with Disney about Lion King as a whole. But, like, the only reason the entire freaking country does not, like, go after them for what they've done is because they have better lawyers. And it's just not worth it.
Yes, and I can't... I don't fault them. I really don't. But at the same time, it's like, eventually Disney's just going to piss off the wrong person, and I can't wait to see where that goes. I'm going to laugh my head off, mind you, but, until that day comes, I'm happy just waiting. Yeah. By the way, can't wait for the whole Nintendo in Universal. Just so I can see how much more money Disney and see what attractions they make. I'm hoping I'm hoping real Mario Party, Mario Party and Mario Kart. They ruin friendships and games. Let's see if we can do it in real life.
Not as badly as Monopoly does.
I'm just waiting for it. I'm looking forward to this. I want to see this Nintendo Land so bad. I'm going day one.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm gonna have the world's best time and just and enjoy and take a photo next to Mario.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's everything there. So we'll move on to the next thing. So,
I tap back to the Discord chat. I gotta get away from the chat. That's like the funniest thing ever.
Again, I love the community. They do
a great job of tearing people through the mud who deserve it.
Yes. All right, so next up we've got Iron Fury and their... Okay, that was weird. and their situation with basically an outrage mob for the sake of an outrage.
Hmm.
Let's see, Iron Fury. Who made this? A Game Dave? What? No. Game Dev. Game Dave. Just some guy named Dave.
At least he's not named Steve.
You
Steve.
know that good. Let's see. I'm just looking for this. Not because I want to drag their name through the mud or anything. Mostly just to see who made them. Oh, it's 3D Realms. Never mind. Fuck you.
Wow.
Again, the same company and group who sent out that hit squad, or sorry, not hit squad, those private detectives to intimidate a YouTuber. So you know immediately I'm not buying this shit.
Oh, goody.
But that doesn't mean I won't cover the good they've done. I'm not that spiteful.
Yet.
Exactly yet. Okay, so let's get into it. So Iron Fury is it's classic Duke Nukem, basically. You know, back when everything was
Good.
no, flat 3D pixel art, basically, but in a first-person perspective. It's basically that with I believe it's a better Unreal. What's the word? I believe it's with an improved Unreal Engine and everything. It's pretty fun. It's actually quite fluid too. The developer is a group called Void Point LLC. I wish they were on their own because I wanted to group, but again, they're attached to Satan, so I can't do much.
Satan.
No, that's 3D Realms isn't Satan yet. What's lower than Satan?
I want to say, but I don't know how religious people in the chat are.
Well, whatever people can think of that's lower than 3D is. I want to say Belial, maybe.
Door-to-door Bible salesman.
George's.
You know I'm right.
Let me see. Well, anyway, point being.
Mm-hmm.
So Iron Fury is basically that. It's a game literally out from the 90s, basically. We're talking unabashed blood and gore, references to old movies out the ass, a character who is kick-ass and isn't apologetic about it. I love it. Every second of it just reminds me of better days when, you know, games were fun. People could be evil. But of course, people had to bitch about anything. So, a little while, or at some point, there's a bunch of like crude joke merchandise, or not even merchandise, sorry, products, you know, joke products like, you know, how we joke about greedy milk and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is. It's an in-universe product, and I believe it was called like, I'm trying to remember. I think it was like Fag Bag or something like that.
Oof.
Which I think they called it that because it's literally cigarettes.
Yeah.
Or it's a brand of cigarettes.
Yeah, it is. Like they still call cigarettes that in Ireland and stuff like that.
Yeah, I believe me. You have no idea how. Can I have a fag? And I just look and say, well, that depends on what you owe. You mean cigarette.
Yeah.
So people get pissed off about that because they're all just like,
countries don't exist. Other terms don't exist either.
Or some bullshit like that. Again, I could be mistaken about what it really was that drove them insane. I just know that they made a hell out of something stupid. Like I'm actually trying to find what it is got them in a tizzy. And looking.
Whoa. You're.
Okay, here we go. So according to this, Okay, so Iron. This strange story starts with blah blah blah. Shortly thereafter, for instance, there's an American game. Okay, here we go. So basically, someone no-clipped into an area uh, that they're not supposed to, and in it it had like the word fag bag or something like that. And then later there is like this something called it's a face wash product called Ogay, which is obviously a joke on Olay products.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a face wash. They're making fun of a fucking face wash, people. You are all dumb shits. But it gets worse. So they get angry about that, and this is how insane these people are. And by these people, I mean people who have nothing better to do except look up for stuff to get offended by and then bully people into doing what they want.
You don't know the power of Karen.
Exactly. So they get angry. They infiltrate the developers' Discord just to find quote unquote dirt, so they can blackmail it against them later. Again, these people believe themselves to be the heroes of this whole world.
They're really not.
Exactly. And I'm not afraid to say that. You're all insane Nazis from hell. You can quote me on that fucking thing.
Yep.
Again, and people are like, "Oh, you're hiding behind a non."
Yeah, well.
I am unabashedly I'm unabashedly cruel and or crude, and I don't give a shit. There is literally nothing anyone can do to me that hasn't been done to me already. Again, I was set on fire.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's saying a lot since I know what's gone on with you.
Exactly. It's like I was set on fire as a child and survived. There's literally nothing more you people can do that hasn't been done. So bring it.
You're essentially one of those one of those evil characters in movies who have gone through every type of torture, literally every type of torture, and you're still standing.
Exactly. I understand it's more like it was that it. Bitch, please. It's basically it. So a little later in the Discord, someone. So so the developers private Discord group. It's public to people, but there are some parts that are private, basically. And in it, the devs say, I'm not going to repeat it. No, fuck it. I'm gonna say this because again, I'm not unabashedly scared of these fuckers. I'm not. Again, you can all bite me. In fact, I'm pretty sure half of you to begin with.
I didn't get that.
I said I'm not afraid of these people. In fact, I bet half of them need a good to begin with.
Nope.
They need to get laid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the devs says the following. It says, most SJWs are just angry people of any gender, sex, race, nationality, and age because complaining on the internet feels good, man. Then one of the other developers says, you know what the key to happiness is? Another one says beer. The first one says, yeah, that works pretty well. And the last one says, some of them are fucking nuts. He's not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He's not fucking wrong. But then these idiots take it as a personal attack. They get offended, they get angry, and they try to strong person to remove words they don't like because they want to control the fucking game. They want to make it into a political piece of crap that nobody wants. So, go ahead.
No, I'm listening.
It's like,
all I can think of is a orange tan woman with like 3-inch long pink fake nails and a blonde beehive screeching at developers over headsets.
Yes, that's basically it. But like I said, so these um these people get angry and they threaten the devs. It's like, oh, we're going to destroy your yada yada. Or sorry, we're going to make your game unsellable because we're going to say a bunch of bullshit about you and everything. We're going to destroy you as public people unless you remove the words we don't like, and then we'll leave you alone. But that's the thing about these people. Don't give them anything because they're never fucking happy. You remove that, and then they're just going to make something else up and say, no, no. Mm-hmm. So the dev said, okay, fine, we'll remove whatever you don't want, fuck off, whatever. So they already say they're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
And then they don't because they realize, wait a minute, these people aren't going to play our game. So fuck that, we're not going to do it. And guess what? Because they stood their ground and they didn't get censored by these idiots, the game is selling gangbusters. On Steam, it is overwhelmingly positive. The exact opposite of what these idiots wanted happened. And
Yay.
it's glorious. Again, like I said, and I've said this from day one, don't listen to these people. They're not the fans of the project. They're not your supporters. They're literally only here to bitch and complain because they lack the talent you have. And because they can't make their own communist propaganda games and have them sell well, they latch on to whatever's popular. They strong on the developers into doing what they say because of, will Tumblr shame you, basically. And then your product's ruined, they lose nothing, and they get to move on to the next thing. They're like locusts, but worse. No, let me rephrase that. They're like giant locusts that are never not hungry.
Yeah.
They're Satan's locust. Again, it comes back to Satan for some reason.
I know. I think it's because we're still on the hype train for Doom.
Yeah.
In some way, shape,
Again,
or form.
Like I said, can't wait to punch Satan.
Yeah. Oh, also, I think it's because an animation channel released a video of Doom. It's like an animated
In a
video.
suit.
Yes, I watched that earlier.
I love that. It's so funny. It's like Doom guy in a suit. I don't know why, but this is the most badass thing I've ever seen.
I like that he has a picture of a wife and then like a bunch of little kids wearing different color versions of his helmet.
Yes. It's brilliant. No, my other favorite thing about that is right at the end of the animation when he's back in hell and he's gonna fight them with pencil crossbow. I love the fact that his suit stays on, the business suit stays on. I would have loved it that the second he sees the demon, he does a mighty flex and the suit rips off.
Yeah, that would have been cool, but no, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. I'm okay. Again, I'm okay with suit Doom and crossbow, pencil crossbow. You kind of want that in the game now. This is a joke. Yes. So we've got that. Like I said, I'm proud of Iron Storm, or Iron Fury. I don't know why I keep saying Iron Storm. I'm proud of them. I'm happy for them. I want to support them, but I am strictly boycotting anything 3D Realms makes, and I'm sorry. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
But I stand by my fucking principles. Which, again, it pains me because there are brilliant references to very good movies and comics and games. My God, they have a love letter to Iron Man, for fuck's sake.
Wow.
Again, you know how most children say it's like, oh, you know, the typical lullabies to put kids to sleep. Iron Maiden was my childhood lullabies. They played this where I would sleep.
Mine was Metallica.
We had amazing childhoods.
Yes, we did. Like to this, like we still make mixed CDs to this day because like we have CD players in our cars for road trips, and I always have a mixed CD in my stereo, which I'm actually having to sell soon because I don't need it anymore. and
Oh.
I will sometimes play Metallica on one volume because it's a very big stereo with very big speakers. I will play Enter the Sandman, and that'll just lull me to sleep. It's either that
Mm-hmm.
or I play Rammstein.
Jeez. For like I said, for me, it's always been like Iron Maiden song,
Mm-hmm.
2 minutes to midnight. Can I play with madness? These are like the big go-to I always use for like, you know what? I'm tired. Time to put on the music immediately.
Like, here's something people are a little surprised by sometimes when I mention this. I love metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I especially love Rammstein. If I can get 5 minutes of peace in a voice call on Discord, I will load up one of my playlists on YouTube with a bot that we have in the chat, and I will just sit there head banging to metal all day. And it kind of bothers
Nice.
me whenever people like join the call, but at the same time, I don't mind.
Yeah, but like I said, I wish I could. I just can't because again, principles.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So yeah, that's Iron Fury. If you want to support it, go for it. Actually, give a shit what their customers say / support. So yeah. Next is Dark. This game I actually don't know much about. It plopped on my radar mostly because of the drama surrounding it. Let's see here. I'm just looking up its Steam page right now.
Okay.
Let's see. It's from Unfold Games. It sounds like a relatively new studio. Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, so Dark is basically it's an action adventure indie horror puzzle game, which apparently it's very strange. But you're playing some kid guy, whatever, stuck in some nightmarish dream world, but you have the power to like shift gravity. So if, for example, you run and suddenly there's a cliff, you can shift the gravity so the cliff becomes another set of another floor for you to walk down.
Hmm.
So that seems to be the most of it, which is just constantly changing perspectives while trying to fucking hell. Sorry. Constant. Again, I have to keep my ringer on in case work calls. So it's like, hey, we've done this. Which, speaking of,
Hey,
again, this
everything was on
hurricane's
fire.
no, again, this hurricane is like throwing everything out of whack work-wise. I'm like, again, can't control weather. But
Like, they
yeah,
call you
so
like, everything's on fire. Yeah, this isn't my first rodeo.
exactly, it's
We've never
like
dealt with hurricanes before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so about them Red Sox.
yeah. But that's basically what Dark is. It is a very unusual game, actually. One I think is honestly, I'm interested now. It's like, oh, this can't be anything good. Oh my god. So a bit about the I'm just going to show this screenshot just so people know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Excuse me, Gia.
Sorry, I saw that thing again.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the whole color, the whole aspect. But the game is very strange. Like I said, it's very dreamscape horror, but without it being pretentious. It's more like everything's weird. You're gonna have to deal with it. It's like, okay, just gonna deal with it. So we've got that. So the dev, so the game's coming out on Steam, and it's actually been consistently in the top. Um, it's consistently been in the top. Oh my god, I'm trying to. It's been consistently in 50 wanted games,
Hmm.
and that's saying something because to be consistently in the top 50 most wanted games on Steam does something because that means want um, people want to play this game. So much to the point that they actually what's the word? Supporting the project constantly. That's saying something.
Yeah.
And the dev recognized this. He's like, oh my god. So so as we know, the poachers, that is the Epic Store, came to the guy and said, make your game Epic exclusive and receive a large cash bonus. He is the first developer, I think ever, to say, no, I'm not going to accept your offer. I'm just going to release it for my audience. And and immediately people began blaming him as, oh, he's greedy, he wanted more money. And it's like, no. He wants his fans to enjoy it. In fact, this developer said the following. On July 30th, I was contacted by the Epic Store proposing that I enter into an exclusivity agreement with them instead of releasing Dark on Steam. They made it clear that releasing Dark non-exclusively is not an option. I rejected the offer before we had a chance to talk about money. Let me repeat that. I rejected their offer before we had a chance to talk about money.
Yep.
That says
he's
something.
a good bean.
He's a good bean.
We need to protect this man.
So he even says turning down the offer a foolish decision in the short term, considering the amount of money that might involve. When thinking long term, however, this was easy and obvious decision to make. In my case, pulling the game off of Steam a few days after Steam release date announcement would forever ruin the credibility of the studio. I would like my customers to have confidence that my word means something, especially when making announcements as crucial as release date /platform. Let's see. His name is Marhulitz. Oh, I don't want to butcher this guy's name.
Send me the name.
He even says he doesn't want to put words on other people's mouth. This is just his instance. There you go.
Marhulitz. Yeah,
Okay.
I know. I've actually heard that name before. I don't remember where, but I've heard the name somewhere. But good on him.
And
Good on him.
I think he posted I think he has a blog post where he just goes into, here it is. He actually has a blog post that explains everything of why he rejected it, and we're going to link it right to it, because this guy...
I will put it in the description on YouTube and in the chat on Twitch.
He really had... after this goes viral, he even says the following. He's in the first line, I had no intention of turning this into a newsworthy story, but seeing the news articles coming out every day quoting what I said on Reddit, it seems that the news is very much out there. I thought I'd give a bit more insight into what actually happened so my words aren't quoted out of context. So he says the following, a bit of background. I am an indie developer, just launched my first title, Dark. I worked on it for over 3.5 years, mostly solo, with occasional help of a few talented contractors. It was in the top 50 most wishlist games of Steam before it launched. And he goes into full details. Here it is. So he says, goes into detail why he rejected the offer. He even says upfront. So again, let's put this out there as well. He says the following: I like money, and getting it some upfront payment on a top guaranteed revenue sounds great. But although I'm a first-time developer, I'm very serious about working in this industry for a very long time. I just had announced Dark's release date on Steam, pulling the game off a few days of Steam, exactly, tarnish reputation. I would like for my customers to have confidence that my word means something, especially when making announcements as crucial as release date and platform. turning down the said that. So he wants money. He needs money. Everyone needs it, obviously, but he isn't controlled by it. And he knew that taking the offer would have just, ruined him financially, even more so. Let's see what else. Okay, here's another thing. He says, it was important to me to give players what they wanted, options. A lot of people requested Dark is made available on GOG. I was happy to work with GOG to bring the game to their platform. I wish the Epic Store would allow indie games to be sold there non-exclusively, as they did with larger, still unreleased games, Cyberpunk 2077, so players can enjoy what they want. Choice. This guy is telling what we've all been saying.
Yep.
Like I said, who is this man? So I may send him everything I can.
Who is this man so I can marry him? Wait a minute.
Let's see, Ooblets. Oh, right. The guys that told their fans to fuck you. We don't care if you support the game or not. Coincidentally, the day after I rejected this offer, July 31st, Ooblets developer announced that they accepted the exclusivity deal from the Epic Store, which caused quite a bit of controversy. At the time, I decided not to participate in the controversy and keep my stance on the exclusivity deals to myself. However, I noticed that more and more people started asking me if I was about to do the same. Ultimately, I decided to mention I had rejected the Epic deal, so the community can rest assured that Dark is still coming to Steam and GOG. I was not going to turn it into a newsworthy story and did not contact the press to attract attention to this matter. Good man. Good man.
Mm-hmm. Good bean.
Good bean.
That's just my thing for all of it. Because, like, cat and dog toe beans are, like, the nicest thing ever. So, good bean. I don't really know why people say it.
But like I said, this man did a good thing. And now he's pretty much guaranteed his game will not only sell well, but sell like hotcakes. This was smart. And this is an example of how someone who isn't controlled by greed can make more money in the indie scene, which is more than I can say for half the indie who basically see this as a money pit to dig into, make the world's shittiest asset flips, and then question why everyone hates their guts.
Yeah.
Now, you know what that reminds me of? There was a game coming out called Police 13, right? Police simulator game. The developer behind that thing is the most just horrible piece of shit I think I've ever met. Even worse than DSP, actually. And that's saying something. Basically, the guy has a history of going around to other, harassing the ever-loving hell out of them if they're doing another police game, and trying to boot them off whatever he finds them on. And then has the fucking nerve, to use a brain tumor he had as a shield, so people would back off of him and not, be so critical of the guy.
Wow. Wow.
By the way, though, it's been removed. He's one of the few lucky ones to have the tumor successfully operated on, and his life will continue. And for me, that's good on him. I am happy he survived. At the same time, that there's that part of me that's like, well, so other people who are probably better than you die because of it, and yet you live.
How about we fix that? No.
No. I would never do that publicly.
Publicly.
You immediately have to throw that caveat. But and another channel bigger than us, Sid Alpha, has actually had a history with the guy, and apparently the guy's attacked his friends, has done everything so that way his dirty deeds aren't revealed to the world. He even tries to launch defamation and lawsuits and, the typical buzzwords these idiots tend to throw when they think they have a case. And here's the funny thing: Sid tries to be reasonable with the guy and tries to tell him, "Hey, be a better person about it." And the guy's like, he lies to his face, says, "Yeah, sure, whatever, I'll be a better guy, blah 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 blah. I'll see the project done." And then proceeds to attack one of Sid's friends and tries to destroy his YouTube channel because he's shining the spotlight of shame on this guy, rightly so for what he's been doing. And he even had the nerve to create a YouTube video in which he says he's canceling the project because YouTube influencers are destroying his reputation, and that they don't control their fans and they send them to do this. Well, he does that. In fact, he's angry with them that they don't police their comments or remove quote unquote hateful things. In other words, I want you to control your fans and denounce those who would not harass me, but question what I'm doing. Just absolutely disgusting. And I hope like I said, I really hope his project fails because, like I said, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy and everything he stands for.
Yeah.
And by the way, if he tries to pull anything with this channel, like always, I'm going to say this right now. And I'm addressing the guy personally. And this is me saying it. This isn't HH.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't anybody else saying it. This is me. Better men than you have tried to take me down. And like I said, there's very little people have ever, like I said, there's done. And if you think that brain tumor...
cut out.
Sorry.
That's all right.
What I was saying was, better men than you have tried to take stabs at me, both figuratively and literally. If you come after anyone, hiding behind flattery words ain't gonna help you. And I ain't saying I'm gonna come after you and beat the ever-loving shit out of you. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying, if you try something, if you try to attack us or, use copyright or whatever, I have friends. I talk with people who deal with legal crap like you all the time. So bring it. I'll see you in court, personally. All right? Have a good day. I have to add that caveat in.
Okay, then.
Like I said, I don't deal with threats well.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you're gonna threaten me, you do a what's the word? You better fall through with that fucking threat. And you better hope that the hit you do actually leaves me like crippled or something. Because if you do anything less than that, I am going to rip your skull off and beat your fucking body with it.
It's like that scene from Red versus Blue. That doesn't seem physically possible.
Exactly. Well, no. I'm just at this point. I'm just doing it to pummel the body. I know you're dead already. I don't care.
Like that's saying something, because he's seen Predator multiple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like I said, there are ways to remove it.
Yeah.
Again, with surprisingly little effort.
Okay, I don't want us to get in trouble with YouTube here.
I know. All right. So let's see. All right, let's move it on to the last topic today, and that is the Rev review.
Yep. We don't have any music for this.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like, yeah,
all right,
Chrome Lab, Music Lab is working again. I don't trust it anymore. I don't really use Google anymore. I don't trust it anymore. So we're not using that music. If you find better music for it, then let me know.
Oh, of course. Like I said, I'll just talk with Jay, what he can find, because I trust that guy. Again, I wish we could get him on the show. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Sorry, Remnant from the Ashes. So a little while ago, this game came out, and at first I just assumed, it's probably gonna suck. It's just gonna be like another Dark Souls clone that isn't that well. I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was honestly wrong. So again, like with everything, I'm just enjoying this of the game. I'm not I play games, but there are just some. For this show, I just focus on the story aspects because I like that. I enjoy a good story in my game.
You
So
just don't see
yes,
that very much anymore.
yeah. And Remnant of the from the Ashes. At first, I just assumed it was going to be like, a Dark Souls setting in the modern day. That's what I expected, you know.
Yeah.
And I just assumed, oh, it's not going to be that great, or it's just going to be post-apocalyptic kind of setup and yada yada yada. I was wrong. It's more like Darksiders, and it's
It was made by the people from Darksiders.
and THQ Nordic, I believe.
Yeah. Like I saw I believe it was Dark and Friends who were playing it. Yeah, it was probably Dark. Also, hi Dark, thank you for the lurk. Um I saw him playing it, and I only listened to it because like that's usually how I work. I have to listen to something. I can't physically watch it for too long, or else I'll start getting anxious. I'll start wiggling about, and I want to stay still in my seat.
Mm-hmm.
But I was listening to it, and it sounded like it was more like Left 4 Dead 2 or Left 4 Dead. Just by the fact of the whole reloading thing.
Well, here's the thing about it. Unlike Dark, where it's like, oh, I have to be in the specific company,
Mm-hmm.
then we have to write a super secret password so only he will be accepted. But as soon as we do deal with bosses, we have to do it again. Remnant from the Ashes isn't like that. It actually has jump in, jump out multiplayer.
Yep.
Where you and a few friends can go in and shoot the ever-loving shit out of everything. But it doesn't make it easier. Just like Dark Souls, the more people you have, the stronger the enemies become.
Yeah.
And I welcome that. It's like, this. Well, first off, I should also mention this. It does have difficulty selection. It does not have an easy mode. It has the following: normal, hard, and nightmare. So yeah, if you want a stronger experience, pick nightmare. If you want to be more casual with your friends, go normal. There is no easy.
I've been watching
Mm-hmm.
H2O Delirious and friends play
I'm sure he's screaming his head off.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like, by the way, his editing has gotten a lot better.
Oh, good.
He still uses the piece of shit mic, but everybody loves the piece of shit mic. So there's no problem there.
It still makes me laugh though that he's been doing this for so.
Mm-hmm.
Still screams like a bitch.
Well, now whenever he screams, a crow will show up on screen.
I love that.
He does sound a bit like a crow, but anyway, I've watched him and friends play it, and dear gods, does it look amazing yet very strange.
Well, that's the thing I'm gonna get into. It seems to be an attempt to stylize the world, but have realistic character designs in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems that at some point they said, you know what, let's just keep it realistic, but they didn't get rid of the stylized aspects, like some of the shading, I should say, or some of the model aspects.
Yeah.
And the end result is this it's not even an uncanny valley, it's more like an in-between that doesn't seem right. And that's all I can say. It's like, oh dear.
I mean, in private chat, we've already talked about the facial animations.
Oh yeah, that's I should say this. The facial animation. Yes, buddy. What is it? Again, he just jumps off the bed. We've mentioned this before, but the facial animations for Remnant from the Ashes is mouth flailing, with very little like lip and or eye animation to it. Like the subtle details. It's more like what's the word? Like Muppet mouth movement.
I think more of stop motion.
And also that, but the only reason why I'm not, typically for me, facial animation can't read faces to save my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird mental thing where just certain things, I can't read emotions off of a face. I can read someone's body language and vocal ranges, but I can't read a face.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, that isn't. So I don't notice when facial aren't on point, except if they're absolutely horrible. Mass Effect Andromeda levels of holy Jesus, what is that? But for this, I'm not picking on the facial animations because that's not the focus of the game, really. When you think about it, the game is very much from, again, to use Dark Souls as an example, no has facial movements. Everyone just looks at you and suddenly they're talking, like they're mentally projecting what they're saying to your brain.
And a good number of them are wearing helmets and masks, but
yeah, but a larger majority tend to don't have masks. I mean, it's obvious. But like I said, with this game, the focus isn't about like character interactions or meeting people and asking. Well, it is about meeting people and asking questions, obviously, when you meet new NPCs and everything. But it's not the focus. It's not like an RPG. Sorry, a text-based RPG where ask this question, get this response, and back and forth, back and forth. It's more. You're questioning. Hey, what's my job? What happened? What's this? What's that? That's it. It's not to get any deeper with the character, I should say.
yeah.
So there's that. The choice of enemies, I actually adore it. It's very rare to have plants actually be menacing and evil.
Usually they're quite funny looking.
Yeah, but in this case, it's like I said. So in the game, the main entity is something called the root. It is this like demon tree, basically, or not tree individual. Evil plants. That's the best way to put it. And yet you would think, oh, it's going to be something goofy, absurd, or whatever. No, most of them, or most of the enemies in the game, are absolutely nightmarish and creative. Like I think in some instances you'll see horrible aspects done to living creatures, like roots overtaking and forcing them to be something different, or something equally as creative, like, oh, I don't know, a giant dragon made out of roots.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a thing.
What I
You will
liked,
fight
what
a
I
root
liked
dragon.
about what I saw is that they didn't invent new plans. Like they kind of did, but at the same time they didn't.
Yes.
There was a moment in the Let's Play I was watching, because I'm going to keep bringing that shit up,
Okay.
where these plants that were just a round ball charged at you and exploded into a plume of gas. Little known fact, there is actually a mushroom that does that, where if you disturb it too much, it'll pop into a gassy spore cloud. And it's not something you want to breathe in. Like, in nature we have mushrooms and other plants that do this quite often.
Yes.
I'm not too sure about the one that teleports around. I think it's just a person.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like every other plant monster I've seen can be tied to something that you see in real life. Just horrifying, just nightmarish though. Like
Yes,
the ones that have the tentacles for legs.
Yes.
There is a fungus. Like there I want to call it a mushroom. It's not actually in the shape of a mushroom, where it is a bundle of sticky, rotting corpse smelling tentacles that pop out of a pus sac and just sit there. It is horrifying. But I don't remember if there was anything really dangerous about them. I just know that they're not pleasant to be around.
Yes, but that's another thing as well. When you really look at how they're more humanoid, again, this is something you see in nature. Sometimes plants, plant roots or plant vines will slowly grow and choke out whatever else they're growing around. Sometimes you'll see a tree covered in roots that don't belong to it. Or even if there's been a corpse laying there for a good while, you'll see roots entangling into the limbs, stretching it out, basically turning it into something unnatural from distance. But you get the idea of what happened.
Yeah.
And that's what I welcome about it.
The plant world is very much survival of the fittest. It's kill or be killed. Every single plant is trying to kill each other in their own way. And
Yes.
it's just like one long back and forth turf war between them.
Exactly.
And it honestly doesn't matter who wins. It all depends on what you think should win. Because
exactly.
human interference is always the deciding factor. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So you mentioned worlds, might as well mention. We're not on Earth for a large majority.
Yep.
Much like Darksiders, you have the ability to leave to other worlds. And this is what endeared me to the entire game as a whole. Because the other worlds you go to are equally as creative as the desolated Earth. You have, I can't remember all the names off the top of my head, but I'll just describe it. You have one world that has been completely and utterly destroyed by a nuclear, or the equivalent of a nuclear holocaust. It's just a desert with the ruins of a city thrown everywhere. You go into the world's largest marsh to the point where there's a literal river of blood everywhere. Because, like you said, everything's just fighting for the sake of survival. It's decaying to the point of, okay, we should probably not stop doing this, but fuck it, let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a world that is in constant night. It's a giant forest in constant night, whereas the other one is a marsh. And it's in the middle of a civil war. The root isn't the issue right now. It's this little war. And each world has its own conflict to deal with, which I loved it. Not only that, but not all the creatures in it are evil or your enemy. You have 3 other races you meet. The first one, I can't remember. It's like an undead race, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But they're undead because their king basically was put into a difficult situation, which was the root invaded their world, and they can't deal with it. The root is invasive, the root is constant. They can't remove it, easily. So the choice became, do we destroy our world and win, or do we keep fighting until our people go extinct? And their king, which is known as the Undying King, just said, you know what? Let's just nuke the world. We'll win, but at the sacrifice of our people. And, well, that's what happened. It's a bleak example of what will happen to our world if we can't stop the root at its source. And in this place, it's a home to, actually, here we go. It's a home to strange, mutated, undead things everywhere, where it isn't just humanoid, it's strange creatures, undead, like everything looks like they've just changed to adapt to the new environment. It isn't just these creatures, but like weird raiders and undead people. And again, it shows you a world that's just decayed from this is what's left, It's decayed from its own actions. This will be the end of this world, basically. That said, this is also the part, I believe, where you will have a major... When you meet the Undying King, who is this very large, four-limbed, rag head-wearing undead, he's a king, right? But he's the king of a dead world. But he's not a prick about it. Well, how do I put it? He speaks with authority.
Yeah.
And he commands respect, but doesn't demand it of you. Even then, he's open to negotiation and makes a deal with it. You go to this other world that is decaying from an internal rot and people are dying out, kill something called a guardian, steal its heart, and bring it back to the king. And that's it. I did that path since it kind of, again, I figured it was the best course of action. If you don't, you will have a boss fight with it. But again, I didn't go through that path. So, naturally, this leads you to your second world, which is it's the marsh, basically. And it's this massive, like I said, it's a massive forest it's a massive swamp where the denizens are all heavily mutated insects, humanoid in name only, with insect-like appearances to them. And again, it shows a world of strangeness and bizarre, but also natural in some weird way.
Hello,
This
Cthulhu.
world, yes, this world is home to a race called the Iska, it's a race of bug people. Unlike typical depictions of bug people, or always hive mind drones, yada yada yada. It's more like the hive mind exists, but it's not encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like they're all connected to each other, but the individual remains, and that they're free to do what they please. It's also where you meet the Iskal Queen, and she, like I said, she basically embodies this notion of we are united, we've evolved past certain things, but we're still individuals in strange ways. And even when you meet her, you know, you ask, "What are you? What should I call you?" She even says, "You can call us Queen if you want, but we're beyond titles. They mean nothing to me, basically." And again, it's a welcomed approach. It's weird, but again, it's welcome. And she's just, like I said, she's very passive. She's very, no, I won't say at peace with the world. It's more like she's very okay with everything and knows that her world is in the death throes, if you will. Anyway, by the way, I should mention this. The method people use to move from place to place is like something called, I believe, dragon hearts, dragon stones.
Yeah.
Yeah, war points, basically. By the way, I should mention this as well. Their goal is they've sailed across the Great Sea to reach an island in another area and uncover the truth of the root and maybe stop. You wind up helping a group of survivors called the survivors of Ward 13. But in order to reach the island, you have to find their founder, who has gone missing. Some believe he's dead. It turns out he went on a globe globe trotting adventure, and you need to find him. He's still very much alive. Which leads us to our last world, and the one I actually like,
Is it,
the Eternal.
is it the goats?
Yeah, yeah,
Yay!
The Eternal Autumn Night world, which is home to the Pan. And I actually really like the Pan because they're satyrs, obviously, but they're not the typical tree hugging nature's good satyrs.
Mm-hmm.
They're warrior satyrs through and through. I really like the Pan. I love their conflict. Basically, it is a conflict between the nobility, where the nobles are
Okay,
immortal.
hold on. Leave the call and come back. You're cutting out again. Hello?
Right. What was that? Like I said, it's a civil war between nobles and the people. The nobles are immortal because they eat a fruit from the tree of life, or their tree of life. But the tree's dead and has stopped giving fruit. So the queen lies about it. She knows, says that the people steal it, and tells her warriors to kill the people because that makes so much sense.
Wow.
I don't get it either. So what winds up happening is her former head of the royal guard turns on her because she can't stomach what's happening anymore. She's also immortal, and she's ashamed of it. Basically, her Pan warriors are just fighting. I don't want to say it's a losing war. It's more like this conflict might not come to an end in a
It's at
good
a
way.
stalemate.
Exactly. And then she talks about the founder. Apparently, she and him were close. He teaches her guerrilla tactics, and even says this isn't the first time we've had to fight for independency. Reference to the Civil War. Actually, when she talks about it, she has trouble saying America, and I find it very like, oh, this is cute, weird goat person kind of way. Also, she's huge, by the way, like almost, I want to say 8 feet.
Nice.
The huge code. Also, you can meet a pan trader in the world. A trader, as in like merchant, should say. She will sell you things on one condition:
Hmm.
don't ask her where she gets these things. That's literally her only rule. She will also trade secrets for scrap. I don't get why she would want scrap, but whatever. Okay, here we go. So just a brief example of the Pan Rebellion leader. Sorry if the image is obnoxiously small.
Huh.
I like the mask.
Yeah.
It's very. You can see where the copper is fading. Again, it kind of hints at I've been around too long. Okay, really like that person. So naturally, when you find the founder, he explains what happens. It turns out that at some point someone attached a dreamer, which are again people who can commune with the root effectively, or see into the root, I should say, and they connected a dreamer to the root that's attacking the world, and the dreamer just he's dead basically. The root's taking over, and now it's spreading even further. And that's the source. That's the cause of all of this. So he tells you, you need this, you need that, you need this. Get all the weapons you can gather. Anything will help because this will be a difficult fight. And you go into the dreamer's mind and you kill him and the root. But it's heavily implied that you don't destroy the root all the way. It's more like, how do I put it? You've stopped it, but the root might return. That kind of it. And again, I really welcome it. I find it very it's very refreshing because the root is unabashedly evil about what it's doing. It flat out says that all the other worlds have roots in it,
Hmm.
and they suffer because there are individuals, there are living creatures in. Oh, sorry, there are individual living creatures on these worlds, and they all scream in silence, and so the root will spread, kill all that, and then there will be peace. But it's unabashedly evil about its entire thing. It doesn't care about people. It just wants to kill for the sake of killing, basically.
Yeah. Like
And it even go ahead.
movies, games, we rarely ever see a creature or an entity, even in real life, really.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, in real life, um, we rarely ever see an entity that doesn't kill for survival or anything. It just kills because it can, and it does. It just has pure, unbridled hatred and rage towards everything. And
Exactly.
the only time we ever see that is with humans.
Yeah. And again, it's refreshing to see um, something that is just so unabashedly out with one goal in mind, one objective, and that is see these creatures that live on these worlds? Fuck these things. I'm going to kill it all because I hate it,
Mm-hmm.
basically. But like I said, once you beat the dreamer and kill them and the root with it, it doesn't feel like the end. It feels like you've stopped it for now, but the root might return. The evil will continue. And it isn't just our world in danger. You know, you get the sense of I should go back to these other worlds and help them out any way I can. Because the evil still exists with them. Maybe there are other roots as well. I need to see this all to the end. And I love it.
Yeah.
So, as you can all guess, uh, I highly recommend this game. However, there are some things I need to mention. The bosses are not that impressive. And this is a problem with the game. Since you are playing, again, since you have the ability to shoot and do damage um, from from any distance, there's really no need to get close to the boss or really strategize. Outside of when to hit, I should say. This results in a lot of the bosses need to be very, very, oh God, what's the word? Very bullet spongy, very durable as a result. And because of that, the only way that these bosses can do damage or become, or sorry, protect themselves or do damage is they spawn in ads. And as you can imagine, it kind of slows the pacing of the, oh God, what's the word? It slows the pacing of the fight down a bit because of that. Again, you wind up having to focus on the ads, shoot them, and then focus on the boss, and repeat ad nauseum. And unfortunately, I can sympathize with people um, who aren't very happy. Oh God, who aren't very happy with the boss fights because it literally is. What's the word? It's literally a bullet sponge fight.
Mm-hmm.
And we play Warframe, we know exactly what that can be like.
Yeah.
But this is an example of it not being done correctly, I should say. Where with Warframe, it's more like, oh God, what's the word? With Warframe, it's more like locate the proper way to beat the enemy, then shoot the weak point, yada yada yada. With Remnant from the Ash, it's more like move here, move there, wait for the boss to appear, shoot, 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 fight the ads, repeat ad nauseum. That's the problem with most of the bosses. They'll spawn in ads and they're very bullet spongy. But there are some that stand out, like a boss who will purposely uh, hide through puddles in its arena and then have multiple ads attack before reappearing, for example. Or the giant bug fight, where you are on a bridge, you have to fight it, and you think, oh, it's just one of these. Then midway through its health bar, another boss will appear behind you, and then you're kind of forced to fight on either side of the bridge while trying not to get killed. So, like I said, there's potential there. There are some bosses that stand out. It's just the majority of them are very repetitive and bullet spongy.
Yep.
But outside of that, like I said, it's their first outing for this kind of gameplay style, and honestly, I believe they can do better. There's space for improvement, and I believe they can improve. Just give it time. Honestly, I believe that given enough time, Remnants from the Ash will do well. I believe it will. And again, this is THQ Nordic we're talking here. They tend to deliver on interesting or fun games. Yeah. So, yeah, I recommend Remnant from the Ashes. I actually friend.
What?
It's a lot more fun with people. I recommend it more with friends. It's a lot more fun with people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But even
I've been sitting here thinking about it for a while. I realized that Root Mother character.
Mm-hmm.
She looks a bit like the Hag Ravens from Skyrim.
Yes, I noticed that too. I don't believe that was intentional.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. I truly believe it was one of those like, again to go to DE when they were making the operator for Deviri. They're like, okay, well we'll do this, we'll change that face, and now we add the hair. Oh my God, we've made Nintendo. What have we done?
Yep.
Like I said, I think it's one of those like, oh, we'll just add this, add that. It's like, oh.
Well, it's sort of like whenever I come up with a character design or concept for a story, and then when I share it with you, you immediately point out that it's one-to-one to something that already exists that I've never heard of.
Mm-hmm. And it's like,
Gods, I hate that.
yeah, I know exactly what you mean, my friend. I know what you mean. But yeah, like I said, glowing recommendation for you. So yeah, it's Remnant from the Ashes, and I believe that's everything for today.
Yeah.
So yeah. So once again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of Referendum Talk. I might not be here for the next one again due to hurricane issues. that's more than likely going to knock out power in the area, and yeah, nightmare.
I
But
swear to
yeah,
God, if anybody
hopefully.
says pray for Florida, I'm gonna fucking stab you.
But yeah, so this has been Rev. Hopefully, I'll see you all next Thursday.
Hopefully.
And yeah, tuning out for tonight. Stay tuned again to the end for HH's usual wrap up.
Yeah.
Peace out.
I don't think this outro is gonna be too long. I'm gonna point something out here. Later on tonight, I'm gonna be streaming again. It will be Okami HD. It'll be episode 4, I guess. I wanted to do something episodic. Uh, let's see. How about today we host, or yeah, let's actually do this. Let's raid, like an alpha. I say this at the end of every episode. We've done like 61 episodes of these. Down below in the description and down below on Twitch, there is a link and a creeper face that say donate to the stream by clicking here. Don't click on them. I literally have no free time these days, so I can't really get the bank thing to get going anytime soon. I am working on it though, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, the link and the creeper face don't work, so please don't click on them. I will see you guys. Oh, it still says Okami. Shit. I will see you guys in a few hours to play Okami HD, which I accidentally forgot to change for the category. Shit. Well, have a good night, everybody.